There are seasons in life when everything feels like it's slowing down at the same time. Your plans, your progress, your relationships, your motivation. It's not dramatic, it's not loud. It's just quiet. And that quiet can feel uncomfortable. You start asking questions you never had time to ask before. You wonder why doors aren't opening the way they used to. You notice that people are drifting, opportunities feel delayed, and momentum seems to have disappeared. And the hardest part is this. Nothing is wrong enough to explain why everything feels off. But what if this slowdown isn't punishment? What if it isn't failure? What if it's not even a setback? What if it's alignment? Because here's something most people don't realize. God often slows things down before he puts things in order. Not to frustrate you, not to confuse you, but to protect you from building a future on a foundation that can't hold it. We live in a world that celebrates speed, fast growth, fast results, fast success. But speed doesn't mean direction, and motion doesn't mean alignment. Sometimes you can be moving fast in the wrong direction and not even realize it until everything suddenly slows. That slowdown is often the moment where God steps in and says, before we go any further, let's fix the order. Because order always comes before expansion. Think about it. When life is busy and things are moving quickly, you don't question much. You don't reflect deeply. You don't check your motives. You don't notice what's quietly draining you. But when things slow down, clarity starts to show up. You begin to see which relationships were built on convenience instead of connection. Which goals were driven by pressure instead of purpose. Which habits were helping you, and which ones were slowly undoing you. Slowing down exposes truth. And truth is uncomfortable before it is free. This is why isolation often comes with slowdown. Not because God wants you alone forever, because he wants your voice to get louder than the noise around you. When distractions fade, your inner world gets louder. And that's where the real work happens. Some people call this season loneliness. But loneliness and isolation are not the same thing. Loneliness is feeling unseen. Isolation is being separated for clarity. And clarity is necessary when God is rearranging things. You might notice that conversations feel shallow now. Things that used to excite you don't hit the same. You don't fit into old environments the way you used to. That's not arrogance. That's growth. You're not losing people. You're outgrowing versions of yourself that require them. And God won't let you rush into a future that your character hasn't caught up to yet. That's another hard truth. We often pray for blessings without realizing that every blessing comes with responsibility. More influence requires more discipline. More visibility requires more integrity. More purpose requires more obedience. If God allowed everything to move fast right now, some of it would break you. So instead, he slows the pace. He starts adjusting your priorities, your boundaries, your process, your faith. Not because you're behind, but because you're being prepared. There's a difference. Delay feels like rejection when you don't understand the process. But delay is often protection disguised as waiting. Some things aren't happening yet because if they happened now, they'd come with the wrong people, the wrong mindset, or the wrong timing. And timing matters more than talent. You don't just need the right opportunity. You need the right version of yourself when it arrives. This is where trust gets tested. Because slowing down forces you to sit with unanswered questions. It forces you to walk by faith instead of visible progress. It forces you to believe without constant reassurance. And that's where real faith is built. Not when things are exciting. Not when doors are flying open. But when you keep showing up, even when nothing seems to be happening. That's obedience without applause. That's maturity. And maturity is what carries blessings without losing yourself in them. Here's something I've learned through my own slow seasons. When God slows your life down, he's not taking something away. He's making sure nothing important is missing. Because order isn't about control. It's about sustainability. God is not interested in giving you something you can't keep. He's interested in building something that lasts. That's why he works from the inside out.
Before he changes your environment, he checks your alignment. Before he elevates your platform, he strengthens your foundation. Before he multiplies your impact, he refines your character. And refinement is never rushed. Gold isn't purified in a hurry. Neither are people. So if things feel slower right now, pause before you panic. Ask yourself, what is being revealed in this quiet? What patterns am I noticing now that I couldn't see before? What is God removing that no longer fits where I'm going?
Because sometimes the slowdown isn't about doing less.
It's about becoming more grounded, more self-aware, more disciplined,
More rooted in truth instead of validation. And once order is restored, momentum returns, naturally, quietly, and powerfully. Not chaotic motion. Not forced effort. But aligned movement. The kind where things start to flow instead of being chased. So don't rush this season. Don't noom it. Don't distract yourself out of it. Don't compare your timeline to someone else's highlight reel. What God is doing in you right now might not look impressive, but it's essential. Because when the pace picks up again, and it will, you'll look back and realize this slowdown saved you. Saved you from exhaustion. Saved you from wrong attachments. Saved you from building something beautiful on something unstable.